this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
Oh, no.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the World. I'm SeptumSin, this is Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to show you what they got.
Yep.
Alright, so with that being said, we got a lot of cool stuff, so why don't you take a look at what's coming out.
Melting the pavement, it's humid as I've ever seen. I know that you wanna play outside, but how about we just go for a ride? 'Cause it's hot out, babe. It's hot out, babe. It's hot out, babe. Please, come on, baby. Come on, baby. When I was a kid, I blistered in the sun. Down by the water, offered me no relief. Let's go back to your house, I got a special scoop for you. 'Cause it's hot out, babe. It's hot out, babe. It's hot out, babe. Please, come on, baby. Please, come on, baby. Please, come on, baby. Please, come on, baby. I can't remember a time. I can't remember a time. I can't remember a time of being this hot. You told me no. My question's why. I've always loved you, how will I get by? Knowing this is null and void. I heard the news, you're in love with this guy, you think he's the one. But looking back on us, never did I wander or stray. So Thelma, reconsider me. What would it take to make it happen again? I can beg, I can plead. To plant this seed of doubt. So Thelma, one to me, you know what you mean to me. I would do anything in and out of reason. Thelma, reconsider.
Alright, we got a lot to cover today. We're going to move forward pretty quickly, but no Gundam.
Oh, what
So-
can you say?
We're going to take off this here, and I will do this thing here, which allows Kotobuki Jake to see what I see.
Do the thing. Yep.
And, of course, we're back to our lists again. And we are we are abridging again because back to full release. And
Yep.
you guys hadn't figured that out already by the video.
Not that this is going to be an enormous release week
Yeah.
or overloaded with true classics by any means, but you know.
Yeah, we've got a 3 large rows here, and
Right.
we've got our rating systems. Priority, which is you got to have it. I mean, if you
Yeah.
have to, you'll pay full price for it. You might be able to wait a little bit, but if you think it's going out of print, you're gonna grab that bad boy. Hell no, which is you couldn't pay us to get it. Well, I don't know, maybe pay us, but we would not take it for free. And again, both of us have to agree for those. The rest
Yeah.
we just kind of take the average and round down. So yes, please, definitely wish listed, definitely something that we want, and we'll get eventually, provided it doesn't go out of print. Curious, something that we're like, maybe that would be cool. Meh, something that's like, maybe if you gave it to me for free. And then there we are, back again. So, we're going to go ahead and move on, and I'm going to start off with Jake.
Okay, so we've got a show called Black Bullet coming to us from Sentai Filmworks. Complete collection. Is this the first release of this one?
I'd never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I know it's a 2014. It's not super released.
Well,
It's one of those super in the future ones. Actually takes place following a pandemic. It looks like an interesting show. Not based on what I know of it, it doesn't look like it's necessarily top quality, but it looks intriguing, and a Sentai one. It'll probably be pretty cheap eventually. Definitely not paying $32.49 for this, but I will be happy to go for that one eventually when it gets down to around 12, 13 maybe. So I would say curious.
all right. Very interesting. So, to me, it's more of a curious. It's an unknown commodity, so, yep. All right, so, I'm up. Assholes, a theory. With venomous social media, resurgent authoritarianism, and rampant narcissism threatening to trash civilization as we know it, the time has come for Assholes, a theory. An entertaining and oh so timely feature John Walker. Inspired by Aaron James's New York Times bestseller of the same name, Assholes investigates the breeding grounds of contemporary asshole culture. and locate signs of civility in an otherwise rude and nasty universe. I love that.
How many assholes we got on this shit?
Yo. Oh, there's Fat Man. It looks like it's come down.
Yeah. This looks like it could be fun.
So, definitely one I will wish list that.
Yeah.
Because that looks like something I would really like to see documentary-wise.
That is a high price, though. Holy crap.
It is. It's one I could put as a yes, please, because I wish listed it. But I can't put it as a priority because I'd rather... I could let it go out of print. I'm not paying that price.
Yeah, I would say... I'm hesitant to go all the way to yes, please, but I'm extremely curious, but I think I might go yes, please, because if I could get a good price on that, I would jump on it.
Well, you know, if it came down to a real price, you know.
A real price, yeah.
Instead of like $50. I mean, dang, man. That's a lot.
That's crazy. What's really crazy is it's the same price for the DVD. Well,
a little bit cheaper.
$3 less for the DVD. $3. Woo!
Apparently, learning about asshole culture is very expensive.
Maybe that's why the price is so high, to give you an early lesson.
Apparently. All right, there you go.
Okay. Much more affordably priced, we have Captain Newman Md, which looks like a Brat Pack film. We got Tony Curtis, Angie Dickinson, and Bobby Darin, along with Gregory Peck. I don't know an extraordinary amount about this. It's a, quote, a realistic look at life and love inside a stateside military hospital psychiatric ward during World War II. So I figured that aspect of it would probably attract to you as well. But yeah, I mean, just it's a Brat Pack film with a pretty impressive cast. I like the idea that it's set in a psych ward. I know very little about the film, but I do want to see it. I don't remember if it has an Oscar history or not. I don't think it does. Because obviously if it does, then that immediately...
They'd have put it down here in the description if it had won Oscars.
They probably,
or if it was, or even if it nominated. Wait, yes, it was nominated for 3 Oscars.
Yeah, nominated for supporting actor for Bobby Darin, adapted screenplay and sound. So yes, I will have to say that's a yes, please.
Well, you know what? Since we're being nice today, I'll let it slide. It's more of a high curious, but I'll let it slide as yes, please. It'll be a very low yes, please for me.
Right.
Just enough.
Right on the border.
Yeah, right on the borderline. All right. So, this is one I kind of pulled just to up my numbers a little bit so that I didn't, we didn't have another one of those where you just keep going, and I'm just like... Oh,
you know you wanted this one.
Yes, the Black Gestapo, with Rod Perry and Charles Robinson. Now, these are fun. There's a fun cast. The People's Army has declared war. Yeah, there are a lot of people who probably think of that right now. General Ahmed has started an inner-city People's Army to try and relieve the misery of the citizens of Watts. When the locals are put under increasing pressure by mafia thugs, Ahmed's second-in-command, Colonel Koja, asked for permission to start a protection squad to take a more direct action. Ahmed fears the protection squad will turn into a vigilante mob, and his prediction soon proves correct. Will Ahmed be able to wrest control from the power man, Koja? Or will he be the mob's next victim? Throw away all those PD bootlegs and watch this classic in HD with the original camera negative. So, this appears to be that kind of, film.
Yeah.
It says release
From the
date.
height of the blaxploitation era, I believe.
This says 2000. Oh wait, no.
Well, that's the current.
That's
one.
current. Yeah,
1975 was the original
release. So
release.
definitely a blaxploitation. I don't know. There's something interesting and intriguing about that time period.
This is actually a well-known title. I've heard of this one a few times before.
Well, I put that as a curious, definitely a strong curious for me.
I'm wary of this one, but I am curious, so I'll go with that.
So we're both on that curious side.
Yep.
All right, go for it.
Next up,
Is that?
speaking of things to be wary of, yeah, you've got on the next one up there.
Oh yeah. There
you go.
Yeah, I must have hit it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh well. So I'll go ahead with this.
Well, okay.
Because you've got the next one anyway, so either way,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So, Fat, a documentary 2.
Mm-hmm.
Fat, a documentary 2 is the sequel to the international sensation that delves deeper into the lies and myths surrounding the age-old question, what should I be eating? Common knowledge regarding healthy eating has grown more and more confusing and seemingly by the day. I think this is kind of cool. We need more of these that go into depth and see what things really are because, I mean, as somebody who grew up in the 80s, we have an entirely different concept of what's healthy now than we did back then.
Yeah.
I mean, some things were healthy, but you remember how the food pyramid was like a crap ton of grain? Back in
Yeah.
Now it's like nowhere near as much. And fat was the enemy, but it turns out fat wasn't as much the enemy as it was meant to be. So it's curious. So definitely one I have a high curious for.
Okay. Well, next up.
Oh, what is your rating on it?
Oh, I'll go curious. It's probably going to be something that will be more than slightly horrifying, but it might be well informative too.
There you go.
Okay, speaking of more than slightly horrifying, we have a return of one of the most reviled anime of the last few years, a show called Conception, which I saw the first couple episodes out of pure morbid curiosity, and it's lazy, uninteresting, and misses the boat by a mile. And I have to talk about it this week because Funimation has deemed it essential. I don't know why. Now, I will admit, morbid curiosity keeps me circling back to this one. I would snap it up for $5, but that ain't happening. But because strangely enough, the first pressing of this has been expensive since its release. But even here, they want $30 for the Essentials release. No.
It'll probably be 15 on the next sale that they do.
Okay, so wait. So they are comparing it to Rosario and Vampire and Strike Witches. That is an insult to both of those series. Okay, this is one that, again, I am curious in the same way we were just on our movie group talking about The Room. Think of it as that sort of curiosity.
Most definitely a curious for me as well. All right. I had to talk about this.
Yeah,
we talked about the special feature only edition last week.
Whoa.
Now, this one is an oddball because you cannot turn off the descriptions. So basically, if you're deaf, you can watch Girl Bloodsport right here.
A good time.
You know, we talked about it earlier, and it's what it says. It's pretty much a girl blood sport. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious about this film because it sounds like it could be something that I would enjoy, but I just don't know. This could be weird, but I'm not going to pay no 99 for it.
No.
But for me, it's curious. What do you rate it?
I really don't know. I really don't know what to make of this one. Based on the information I have, I kind of dread watching it, but I am kind of curious. So I might be generous and go with meh.
All right. Well, that'll be it.
Yeah.
I knew it would be there, but I can't rate it above curious. So, you know,
Right.
because to me, it's not what I'm wish listing. If I see it cheap enough, though, I'll have to slap that up. Yeah.
Right. So, are we ready on the next one?
Yep. You should be able to see it.
Flying Witch. What's that?
Oh, I was saying you should be able to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Flying Witch. So this is one that is getting its re-release from Sentai Filmworks. I believe this is one of their many series where they did an initial Japanese only, and now they're doing one with an English dub. Does that sound about right?
I guess so. Let's see.
Yeah. This one does have an English dub.
Yeah, so probably it must be the one with the dub. That's how they seem to always do it. You know?
Right. So I have the very nice deluxe edition of this one. So I have no desire to get a new one, even for an English dub. It's kind of a shame if they're doing that, doing the dubs only for the standard releases. That's kind of silly. But at any rate, I have not yet seen this show, but I have read the first 2 volumes of the manga. And I believe this one is a genre called, if I may be butchering this, but I think it's called Iashiki. And it's basically supposed to be sort of relaxing. Like I heard a reviewer who said this is a series that puts you to sleep in a good way.
In a good way.
But in a good way. But it's a very nicely drawn series. I enjoyed thoroughly what I've read of the manga. It's basically about a witch in training and the family she moves in with. The white-haired one is, I think, her older sister, if I remember correctly. It's a fun series. I look forward to watching it eventually. I would definitely recommend picking it up if you haven't already. And especially if you want the English dub. Since I did not waste much time getting this, I probably paid a lot more than I needed to, because it's now quite affordable in the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
But it's one I did snap up, so I would say I could easily go yes, please on this one.
See, I've got the standard DVD edition, I think, because I snapped it up for like really, really cheap. But, you know, I'm still on a curious end because I really wasn't going to pay a lot for it until I've seen it. And so right now it's on a curious end.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Girls Night In 5-movie collection.
Okay.
So we got quite a few girls movies here. Bridesmaids, which is really good. Pitch Perfect, which is decent. Trainwreck, which is low decent. Girls Trip, which I haven't seen, and Sisters, which I haven't seen.
You stole the same 3 I have.
So, you know, so it's all right. If you're big onto this, I've only got Bridesmaids, and I have no interest in getting the rest. So, it is But it's nice for those people who really like these.
I'm surprised you don't have more interest in the Pitch Perfect series.
I've watched all 3 of them, and I did not like them.
I did. They were fun. Trainwreck was annoying to me, but it was okay. I do have that, and I think Trainwreck's the only one I have.
So
I've heard great things about Girls Trip.
to me, this is a meh on my end.
Aha. Well, but you grabbed it because the wife will insist on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it's on that, like, Bridesmaids is good, but I'm not.
I would go for Curious, even though Sisters looks like it'll be painful to watch. I would happily trade out Trainwreck for a movie that gets all 4 or 5. The only thing being that I would probably have doubles of Pitch Perfect because I'll probably eventually get the 3-film set.
So
but
yeah,
I would be Curious. Yeah.
So much like Girl Bloodsport, it's been kind of dragged down to meh.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, I'm back.
Next up, we have Love and Monsters.
I can put the 4K up.
Starring,
there you go.
Starring Dylan O'Brien. Is there a 4K? There is a 4K release. Okay.
Yeah, 4K.
4K is only $5 more than the Blu-ray, apparently. And basically, this is a movie that I think came out this past year. And it's got Michael Rooker in it. That's pretty cool. And Dylan O'Brien stars in this thrilling adventure delivering epic action and laughs. After monsters take over the world, Joel and the rest of humanity are forced to live underground. Believing he's lost everyone he has ever loved, he finds his high school sweetheart is living just 80 miles away. Facing unknown dangers stand in his way, he must discover his inner hero as he makes the impossible journey across a monster-infested land to be with the girl of his dreams. I had never heard of this before, but I think this looks fun. I would probably like to see this. I'm going to go high Curious on that.
I can go with Curious as well. All right, moving on.
Oh, me again, I guess. No, you again. But I want this.
This is an older film, which shows that people can indeed have interesting starts. With Charlie Sheen, George Clooney, and Laura Dern in the movie Grizzly.
Don't you just love that picture of Clooney there?
37 years in the making. Grizzly 2. Revenge. This is one. Oh, by the way, I gotta wish list this one. There's no way.
Tipping your head there a little bit.
I am, but it is there. In Yellowstone National Park, grizzlies and other wildlife roam free in the park. The park is preparing for the major rock concert to be held in 3 days. Poachers are hunting for grizzlies. And one of the poachers end up killing a cub, removing its mother. The grizzly takes revenge, killing hikers, a deputy ranger, and the poacher who killed their cub. The killing spree continues. The park superintendent, Eileen Dragon, refused to help and continues with the concert.
Played by Nurse Ratched.
Nick Hollister, Chief of Rangers, and Samantha Owens, Director of Bear Management, is desperately looking for help to find and finds Bouchard, the bear specialist in Canada. Help locate the gigantic bear. The concert goes on. When the grizzly attacks the backstage area, Samantha, Bouchard, Nick, and all his men are fighting the bear and eventually end up lodged into a giant phoenix bird. Did I read that right? Which is part of the stage decoration and gets killed. Everyone cheers and applauds. Dragon acts as if killing the bear was part of the show. So basically, somebody just spoiled the whole darn thing for me.
I know. What the heck?
But, I guess the first part's good because I don't know if Grizzly itself is available on Blu-ray or DVD. I mean, oh wait, Grizzly is available on DVD. Okay, I mean on Blu-ray as well. So okay, well, okay, got it. That. All right. There's just so let's see here. Do we have anything cool there? Not nearly as fun a cast though. With that. I gotta go with a yes, please on Grizzly too. There's just no way I could ignore something like that.
Well, I gotta wonder. I mean, again, you got Bouchard is played by John Rhys Davies. You got Eileen as Louise Fletcher. You've got Laura Dern's in there, George Clooney, and a very young Charlie Sheen. It sounds awful, but it sounds fun. I don't know if and it sounds like something will probably eventually hit on Movies Galore. So, of course, we'd have to watch the first Grizzly,
Oh, yeah, I mean, we'd have to.
Do that. I don't know if I could quite go to yes, please, but on the other hand, I kind of want to. I'll go yes, please.
If anything, you could wish list it and hope it comes down to a certain price.
Exactly, yeah. And who's releasing it?
Good question.
Oh, it's only 14. That's not bad. Gravitas Ventures, huh? Okay. Good times. This is one of their cheaper ones, apparently.
If I wasn't in a no buying zone right now, I'd probably snap it up already.
Right. So, next up, we have an interesting release. A film talking about your impressive casts. This is a film from 1975, I think, called The Man Who Would Be King. This is notable as a film that I saw back in the day. I'm pretty sure my dad showed it to me. Might have been my mom, I can't remember. One of my parents said that it was a good movie, and I hated it. I really did. But I've heard so much about it since then. It was up for 4 Oscars, including an adapted screenplay with John Huston as one of the nominees, and Edith Head was nominated for costume design for this one. But it's a John Huston film starring Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Christopher Plummer, Saeed Jaffrey. I mean, with that pedigree, I can't just write this off and never watch it again. And it's a 7.8 rating on IMDb, so I'm feeling like I probably was just too young when I saw it. But from what I understand, it has something to do with Plummer actually narrates the story, if I remember correctly, and he plays Rudyard Kipling. And it's about a conflict between 2 British officers who basically are, trying to rule this conflict-torn desert country. It is a film I need to see again. Warner Archives is putting it out this week. I don't think the film is impossible to find in print, but this will make it a little easier. I'm going to definitely have to give this another look. Because it's an Oscar nominee, I have to go yes, please. But that strange backstory that I have for it also just has me really curious. If we do end up doing a Second Chances month again, this would be a strong contender. So, yeah.
Yeah, mine's more of a strong curious. As you know, Oscar nomination is not enough to guarantee a spot in my collection.
Right.
Though I gotta hand it to Warner Archives; they do a great job. All right.
I gotta say though, if this was like a Kino or a Shout release, I'd be on it much more quickly, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Ingagi, Forbidden Fruit, The Golden Age of Exploitation Pictures, 8. Banned, U.S. Federal Trade Commission, 1933, the greatest movie hoax. So, speaking of Kino, this is a release. Basically, the exploitation cinema had its share of scandalous films, but none so mired in controversy as the bizarre pseudo-documentary Ingagi, purporting that the ethnogeographic journey into the wilds of Africa. It combines authentic footage purloined from other films with outrageous scenes staged for the camera in Los Angeles. Among the hoaxes perpetrated are the discovery of the tortadillo, a heretofore unknown species of animal, and exposure to an indigenous cult that sacrifices women to gorillas, a particularly racist concept that would resurface in films later. Most notably as the dramatic springboard for the King Kong, after spawning a whole subgenre of exotic shockumentaries, Forbidden Adventure, Karamoja. The originator faded into obscurity, mired in lawsuits and cursed by notoriety for its title. Okay, so yeah, it's the word for gorilla. It has not been commercially distributed in the last 50 years. This 4K restoration from materials previously used by the Library of Congress. So, this sounds like such a terrible film.
Yeah.
But I am one for preserving film history. And with this one also having an inspiration towards King Kong, that's also a huge thing. For me, this is the kind of thing I have to wish list and probably put as a yes please for me. Because I love this sort of thing. It's just a preservation thing. I'm glad to see it. It's a must.
Right.
And besides, trying to pass off like a bunch of stuff shot on Los Angeles lots as a real documentary, that's just great. I love that.
I cannot say that I have much of a positive outlook toward what they were apparently going for with this one. And apparently its influence obviously is both good and bad. I do have a preservationist bent. I mean, it's part of the reason why I'm fascinated with trash like Conception. It's like I feel like there's got to be some love for stuff. And I hate to see a film die out completely. I like to see them stay available. I cannot go yes, please on this one, but I have to admit I'm curious. Yeah.
I saw this and I was just immediately, I have to get this in my collection.
I'll bet you Dan will probably say the same thing.
Now, I admit, I'm not going to pay $20, but next Kino sale, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's my turn. Talking about things that are a little bit overpriced. Apparently, the only option here is $45. Woo.
Ooh, big spender.
Holy crap. Well, we have a movie called Moments in Space Time, which apparently brings back our old friend John Rhys Davis. He's got a busy week this week, apparently. But this is a much more recent film, which pairs him with a Thai immigrant played by Patty Srisuan, however you want to say that. And I think it's a Canadian release, if I'm reading this correctly. I know very little about this, but I've long been a fan of John Rhys Davies, and this just looks interesting. It looks like something that would be on my agenda. I would not pay $45 for it, but I would probably, if I see it for 14 or 15, I might consider it. And that's definitely got me curious.
I'm slightly curious. I'm willing to go with that. One of my worries is that maybe with physical media being less and less prevalent, many more indie films are having a harder time and just charging a fortune for the less amount.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm hoping that's not right. I'd rather be wrong, but
Right.
Speaking of reprints.
Yeah.
Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Set 4. Diamond is Unbreakable. That arc is getting a re-release in a standard version. Only $44.99.
Ooh.
So, it's 20 episodes. I'm looking behind me right now to see, because my JoJo sets are actually right behind me. I don't know. My Diamond is Unbreakable set looks a little bit better. I think I'll stick with what I've got. But if you haven't gotten it yet and you missed out on the premium sets, this is another way of getting it. It's still fairly expensive. But Viz keeps things expensive.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of Viz for a while. Because, back when Ranma, they were the premier carrier of everything Rumiko Takahashi for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. But with this, all things JoJo, not necessarily this release, but everything else JoJo is a priority for me, so it ends up going priority. I'm going to have it up there, even though it's going to be dragged down in a moment. I do like to have it up there as the king for a temporary minute.
Well, I definitely did not prioritize this series. I'm trying to pick up the deluxe editions as I can. I do not yet have that one. Part of my issue is I refuse to spend $45 per volume, and getting the premiums for less than that is difficult.
They not out of print, which is a sad thing.
Yeah. So I am very curious about the show, but I have yet to see a single episode. So as of right now, I can only go curious for the series, but yeah.
Well, the great thing about that is that Yes Please is in the exact center of this. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a Yes Please.
All right. Right next to that Grizzly.
Yep.
So next up, we have probably another little indie film called Nina of the Woods.
Slightly cheaper.
Much cheaper. Ooh, $17. I'm just puzzled by these Gravitas releases. They're all over the map price-wise. But anyway.
It's like Rosario Vampire, apparently.
Is it? Are we looking at the
that was the product related to.
Pandora and the Crimson Shell, Ghost Turn, Kumi Miko, Antebellum. I love how Antebellum's in the middle of all these anime.
Escaflowne and Rainbow Day. Oh, that is one movie. This has got me intrigued. Definitely.
I am too. Nina of the Woods follows aspiring actress Nina Noon after she agrees to lend her, quote, local authenticity to a supernatural reality TV show filming an episode about the purported Bigfoot sightings near the tiny town she left as a young child. She and the documentary crew follow an enigmatic guide deep into the labyrinthine wilderness where they encounter an ancient hypnotic force that locks the team under a subtle spell, etc., etc. This sounds quite intriguing. I love the title. I like the premise. I like the fact that it's not $50. So I'm going to give this a high curious.
All right. Mine's on the low end of curious, but I'd be willing to check it out, definitely.
Okay.
So, all right, let's see. What's next? Okay.
All right, your favorite.
One Piece Season 10, Part 4. You know, we've been sitting there with the Season 10 release for a while.
Right.
And they're these small batch releases, but I'm waiting. See, I don't collect in this. It's sort of like how you're collecting Fairy Tail. It's basically how I'm collecting One Piece.
Right.
And so...
Well, I'm collecting One Piece the same way you are.
Yeah, which, you know, not in these, like small bits.
No.
And my hope, though, is that after this release, the next thing we'll see is the compilation of what's been released, because we haven't gotten a One Piece release since volume 22, 23, something like that. It's been a while. So, it's been almost a year, hasn't it? Let me see.
I feel like it, yeah.
I gotta go check that out. Just give me one moment.
Huh.
Yeah. One Piece. Down here at the bottom. Okay. Oof. All right. Since volume 23, which had episodes 541 through 563. And this has episodes 615 to 628. So they're way overdue to do another release. I mean, good Lord. That's almost 100 episodes that have gone by. And they haven't done any of the big releases. I hope they haven't discontinued the bigger releases.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think they've decided to discontinue them?
I don't think they have. It's too hard. It's too soon to say. Because if this is only, 50, 60 episodes up, then they probably just haven't gotten around to producing the other sets yet.
Yeah. And the hard thing is when you got an epidemic going on, it's even harder to really say what their thing is. Just out of curiosity, I'm like, oh wait, there is a set. There's my answer. Set 24 is releasing in February, which we only look a week ahead at a time typically. So, and that takes us from 564 to 507. So the arc's still continuing to do these releases. It's just much slower. So that's coming out in February. So because it's One Piece, and I hate to admit this, I can get it as it comes out. So it is a priority. All right, so now you need to give it like a hell no so I can drag it all the way down.
No. If we're rating it on this particular volume, then it would be a meh. I would accept it. But we're basing it more on the show itself, right?
Yeah, more on the show.
And based on the show itself, I am actively collecting the show. I do consider it a legitimate must-get for the collection, but I will not pre-order it. So it's going to be a yes, please.
All right, well, at least we get it down one. My wishful thinking.
Yeah. Your wishful thinking, yes.
So.
Now, it is kind of sad that you placed it literally right on top of Flying Witch. That was unfortunate. But anyway, where are we at? We've got this guy.
Yep.
The Secret War of Harry Frigg, which I just love that title. That's a very intriguing title. And we apparently have a couple of these coming out this week of Warner Vault Collection releases where they've already done a DVD, but now they're doing the Blu-ray release, which is kind of weird because they have completely different cover art and all kind of stuff. But anyway, The Secret War of Harry Frigg. What happened?
I prefer that new cover art. These aren't really good. They're kind of like, that's lame.
Yeah, that's pretty lame. Yeah, the new art's much better looking. And this is a film that notably stars Paul Newman and Tom Bosley, John Williams, but not the one that most people know, Vito Scotti. You got a bunch of folks in there, Buck Henry, a bunch of folks, but mainly Paul Newman. It's an old school war movie. 1943 is the setting. 1968 was the actual release. I know nothing particularly about this. I like Paul Newman. I like the title. I feel like it's worth watching, so I'll give it a curious.
I really have no interest in this whatsoever, but I'd watch it if I was given it, so it would be a meh. So let's see here. There we go. Especially this cover brings it up from hell no to meh. Because the other cover would have just been no.
Right. It's so generic and bland.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, look at that. That just is... No. All right. So, one I just added on here, Shrine of the Morning Mist, is getting its Blu-ray release. This is one that has a bit of a reputation, not a huge one. Ever since childhood, Tadahiro had two different colored eyes, one brown, one hazel. With the power to view the spirit world in his left eye, Tadahiro has become a walking target for the masked sorcerer Ayatachi. Ayatachi Mishimune and his band of demons. To combat the demons, to save those people, a Shinto priest in training recruits 4 girls from her high school priestess club to undergo strenuous training to defeat the demons and rescue Tadahiro from a horrible fate. Oh, set in the real-life city of Miyoshi, Hiroshima, where there is a mysterious abundance of mist, and based on actual folklore. These type of things do have some interest to me. I was just actually talking about Ayakashi Samurai Horror Tales the other day, and these type of things do have an interest to me. It's more of a curious, but it's still, it's there.
I'm curious about this one at the very least, and I swear we presented that one a week or two ago. It probably got pushed back.
The DVD released earlier. So okay. I think it's the first time the Blu-ray's been out, though.
Okay. So next up, we've got a movie called Sing Me a Song, which is getting a $44 release. Ooh. As the internet finally arrives in tiny Bhutan, documentarian Thomas Bonomis is there to witness its transformative impact on a young Buddhist monk whose initial trepidation gives way to profound engagement with the technology. So essentially it's a documentary about the spread of social media, if you will. It looks interesting. Again, this is one of those little low-budget indies, more than likely, that might not have gotten...
Gravitas is releasing it.
Yep. So, I'm certainly curious. I'm not $44 curious, but I'm definitely curious about it.
So no, priority for you, huh?
No. No.
I have to agree. It's a very low curious for me, but I would be interested.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Star Blazers, Battleship Yamato, 2202, complete series. This is a classic anime sci-fi series, but the ones in this confuse the heck out of me.
Yeah.
There's lots of Star Blazers series.
Mm-hmm.
And I do...
Well, like, why does the cover art make no mention of Battleship Yamato?
I mean, the battleship itself is very famous.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the name Star Blazers. It's one that Star Blazers is a must-have, I think, for most anime collections eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't even. It's like Gundam. Do I know where to start? You know? Okay, it's not as bad as Gundam.
Wait. This is the recent series, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So
Still,
yeah, you probably don't want to start here, but
right.
still, it's a lot to cover. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a high curious. It's kind of tentatively in get this, please, but it's not really there.
I'm going to go with a high curious.
All right, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
What do we got now? We have a movie. No, you skipped one.
Did I? Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me look at the list.
Skip Texas Across the River.
Well, I will add that.
Well,
I'll add that right after this.
Okay, that works. So, next up then, we got Yellow Rose, which is a movie starring Eva Noblezada and co-stars some other folks, Leah Salonga, Dale Watson, what have you. And basically, it's about a young Filipina in Texas who wishes to become a country star, as I understand it. So I am very curious about this. The young lady in question is quite cute. We've got some interesting supporting cast. I grew up on the music of a Filipino country star, Neil McCoy, so I'm kind of curious about seeing a movie about a slightly different twist on that. So yeah, I could go for that. I'm going to say curious.
A little curious. All right, now I'll get this Texas
okay.
Up here. So it's a Texas one.
Okay. Cross the river.
All right.
Okay.
I'm rating that.
I'll bet. So, Texas Across the River. We've got it there. There we go. Another one that it has a new release with a new cover that was on DVD and now it's on Blu-ray. And this is it's a much more boring cover. A Dean Martin film with Elaine Dillon, Joey Bishop, Rosemary Forsyth, and from Michael Gordon, the outstanding director of An Act of Murder, and other stuff, comes this wonderful comedy western starring, the people I just said. The Louisiana wedding of debutante Phoebe Ann Naylor to Don Andrea de Baldassar, El Duce de la Casala, is stopped by the cavalry over a matter of honor. Don Andrea flees across the river to Texas, where he meets up with Sam Hollis and his Indian sidekick Kronk, who are carrying rifles to the town of Moxon Flats. This, to me, sounds like a couple of Maverick episodes rolled up into one. And it's a movie that's very, very well known. It's a very well-known Western. I feel like this is one of Martin's better-known roles. I imagine it probably has some severe cringe factor from the way they probably portray the Native Americans in the film. And I'm not 100% sure that I will have much affection for this film at all, but it is a famous Western that needs to be seen at least once, probably. So I'll go with Curious.
Meh. I didn't even have enough interest to put it up on the thing. It's just that I can't, I can't totally discount it.
Right.
It's just no.
Nah.
So let's see here. My last one, which is Tintoriera, Tiger Shark.
All right.
So, I was debating this one, but then I was like, I gotta fill some space.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's filling space within the shark's stomach.
It looks like this is your kind of film.
It does, which I was like, okay, I guess I can, discuss this one. From cult filmmaker Rene Cardona Jr., a lot of stuff there. Let's see here. Enter the world of a trio of beautiful young people, the hot, sexy beaches of Mexico, and a giant, hungry tiger shark known as Tintorera. When two handsome shark hunters, Stephen, Miguel, hook up with Gabriela, everything seems to be paradise until Tintorera strikes, eating the beachgoers and endangering the lives of the trio. One of the hunters decides to avenge his friend and take on the Tintorera one-on-one, and it became a brutal battle between man and beast. I just got, not too long ago, I watched Santa Jaws, and it can't be any worse than that. So, it's got me curious.
I'm going to go with Curious as well. It's probably pretty bad, but it's probably worth a look. I like the way it's worded on IMDb. Two shark hunters flirt with an attractive British lady while hunting down a large tiger shark, terrorizing the Mexican East Coast.
As you do.
Exactly. I will have to see that, I guess. So, next up, we have Nanbaka, which I'm mentioning mainly because this is the other one that's getting an Essentials release from Funimation this week. And we love to mock our Essentials releases, don't we? This is one that has caught my attention vaguely, but I could take or leave it. So
$26 vaguely.
I'd buy that for $1. I'd probably pay $4 or $5 maybe. I'm going to go. I'm gonna go meh.
The press. I'll be curious on it. It'll still be a meh, but mainly because these people are just like they're stuck behind bars, and we get to watch them have fun in creative ways behind bars.
Well, screw it. If you're going Curious, go ahead and bump it up to Curious. I don't really care where that one goes.
I don't have any invested interest in it. I don't even have it on the original list.
Okay, so next one. 3 films by Louis Buñuel. The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie, The Phantom of Liberty, and That Obscure Object of Desire. We, of course, are having our first Criterion release of the new year. And this is 3 films. Yeah, we have more than 4 decades after he took a razor blade to an eyeball and shocked the world with Un Chien Andalou. arch iconoclast Louis Buñuel capped his astonishing career with 3 final provocations, in which his renegade, free-associating surrealism reached its audacious, self-detonating endgame. I like French films, pretentious, boring. But I have to admit, the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie from 1972 it's an Oscar-winning, I believe it won foreign language film. It is a very well-known film that I've been meaning to see for years.
It's been on my list for a while.
Yeah, The Phantom of Liberty from 74, That Obscure Object of Desires from 77. I have mixed feelings about Buñuel. Based, if you listened when I read that description,
yeah, the razor to the eyeball, yeah.
But I will have to see these eventually, and also to add, I think it was 2 years ago. I think there was an animated feature called Buñuel in the Labyrinth of Turtles that I just love the title, but I really want to see it, and I feel like seeing some of his films will help with the appreciation of that one, if that makes sense. It's on the list. Is a Criterion release that includes an Oscar-winning supposed classic. I have to go yes, please, for this. I don't know that I'll be in a hurry to get it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's on my list eventually. I have to, again, the Oscar-winning, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Drive into that. So that's it. So, as you can see, very curious week, but we have a decent number of yes pleases.
It looks a lot like the cover of Assholes, a Theory.
Yes, it does. It's giving us the middle finger already. And of course, please shout out to the ones that we didn't cover.
Let's say not so much that's a sign that's not so much what 2021 has for us as what we're doing in the review to 2020.
Yeah, that's 2020 giving us the finger on the way out. But this is our, of course, we kind of just didn't cover. You got a couple operas, the typical stuff. Yeah. And I know most of these opera releases are probably going to be relegated down here.
Yeah, most of them.
So, in any case, I hope you've enjoyed that. Hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, share, because sharing is caring. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay.